in the eyes slowly sinking. As if on this side, I was amazed. He looked dumbfounded at him. He just discovered someone before. He also gambled. How much harm is there? At the very least, he was just blown away. Black people over there are no exception. They stared in wonder at the situation in front of them. Who can think of a gas station facing the Gao people? Scene, dare to move the head. More than successful. This moment, their eyes looked towards the most beautiful. No more contempt, there's only fear. Suddenly shout a name to kill this boy. They all understand. Of these 3 people in front of me, the most dangerous person is a young man. On the handle 3 ghost products. To solve his mission as if there were no obstacles. The black medicine is moving towards the most secure. Look at the people coming. Probably not panicked. Smiling is exactly what I mean. Just finished his words, he moved in the hands of the shining light. A path towards the oncoming caravan. The moon wheel in your hand, with the speed and power of the most powerful. Very quickly every one of the black men fell. Blood flows into a river. The crowd saw. Immediately horrified backward. If you say that you've won before. When you attack a black leader, you sneak in. Now when we attack directly. He still creates such a horror. It's to terrorist. Most likely, the crowd is constantly being pushed back. Her evil eyes turned red. Dare to come to my place and cause trouble. Don't come back alive either. His words stopped everyone from trembling. Not self-conscious but backward. Panicked look at the person in front of you. They're from the top hunters. People. Since then, he has been a victim at the hands of others. One of the black men spoke. Don't be afraid, everyone. He's just a little devil with an aura. He only relies on 3 ghosts. Just surround him and he won't escape. Once again rush on. Black medicine people at the same time carry the intention to attack, the worst of all. But the ghost in his hands is extremely dangerous. Use them to master again. Everyone fell in a pool of blood. The dead stood beside me in terror. At this moment I see the most positive atmosphere. He could not help but remember his father's oppression. He thought he was probably stronger. Everyone seems to be dealing with him. They're all going to be chased and killed to one AI that can survive. Acceptance of 39 deity scenes fake strength. It is no different from the table. The long kneeling now also has an amazing face. This is the first time she really saw the worst of it. Now she knows the horror of him. With this majestic atmosphere, so there's no one who can really match that. Now in the battle. The current effect. It is considered to be the greatest massacre of all. He still fights blatantly. Ball back solemnly dissipates false potentiality. The moon wheel in the hand of a path. And then a solar flare flashed. It is also the time to take the lives of black people. In front of me, everyone falls down. The blood is red on the ground. After a while, there was only one person left. The worst of them stopped. Let's ask who sent you here. The black man who survived saw him ask. Shaking answers in fear. As bad as right now. A flute echoed. The 2 eyes are round. Immediately fell to death without closing his eyes. I'm most likely to see this scene. Be immediately alert to look around. Take a deep breath. Using the idea of murder to project false power. That kind of attack. Even if you fight with your blood and the lunar wheel. He is not his opponent either. Just when people are amazed, there was a noise coming from behind. A white body appears on the handle of a flute. He's the one who used the idea of killing black people. Not wrong before. When the people saw him coming, they shouted for joy. Why are you here? Most likely, he looked at the person coming. Silently observe a fen. There's a white body. Face sharp. The weapon in your hand is a jade pepper. From the time it appeared, the faint smile on his lips did not end. Thought for a moment he finally realized this person. You are one of the 5 great gods. The first sword god. Pearl of the sword god Fuang Thursday batch. Most people have heard of Long Nine before. Through the current forces, the 7 kingdoms and the 7 kingdoms, there is also the dragon god protecting Emperor 7. To reduce the influence of the 7. Of course, Emperor 7 has this level of false power. It's not surprising to be able to dominate the 7 worlds. As soon as he finished, there was a good laugh. Long Nine also appeared from behind the tree. I said no, wrong. This boy's eye is poisonous. The old man said once he recognized you immediately. I saw Long Nine appear. Happy to call to hours 9. When did you and your ancestors come from? Why not come earlier? Long Nine heard Long kneeling to ask and suddenly laughed. Ha ha, since the Trach brothers and 3 princes. We're here. Your brother must be good. Face 10 of the gladiators. The scene doesn't change. Face alone rushed up. Even the old man when he was young, nor have the guts as admiring brothers. Admire. I can't help but wonder if you heard that. The old man and the old man are here. Why not come out? I am not alone. There are demons. When listening to Long Nine, he also nodded. Long Nine is wrong. He is not only smart but also courageous. AI is confident to take the power of the scene. Confronted more than 10 high-trick scenes. But don't back down. It even succeeded in wiping out the whole thing. Then he looked at the surest part of the world. If you do it from the beginning, whether to skip a play or not, more old man will not be witnessed, the body of this genius teenager. The most likely to hear Fuang Thursday White praise. It's not too pleasant. Gentle exam seniors to praise. It's just because Sao killed someone. I just finished reading the book immediately. Cast a sharp eye towards him. His face couldn't stop falling. There's a little warning. Young people, you are smart, but with your current strength. Smart is not necessarily good. Probably most hurt him. The warning in his words. He is warning you. The power of the 7 now. It's not something he can get involved in. He is also protecting that person. Hurriedly nod to the teacher. He turned to the White House. The field of education. I will soon forget about today. He just finished. The Lord knows that he understands his will. Just like Long Nine said. Say less, understand more, take back. Really smart. He looked at the surest side and laughed. I can't believe it except for 7. The world still has good people like you. If you don't belong to the devil, you will be very good with the old man. I will send you back to teach for 2 years. The money is infinite. Words just came out. It's an amazing battle for the death table and the dragon. People from the 7 countries know. Pure gas is not good. Don't put AI in your eyes. Even the emperor doesn't respect his face. I've taught you some tricks before. It was on his knees for 3 years that he agreed. But he refused to be a disciple. That's why the death table called him the master. Not the master. But I'm sure you've only met him once. He wanted to accept him as a disciple. If it's not a practice of 2 different people, probably the most obvious. He was the first to enter the sword god. Just like that, the 7-year-old saw that he had to go around. This treatment is really admirable. But for this, most likely, he shook his head, smiling for an hour. With his previous emperor to 6, he can become a teacher. Must be at least a high-level player. So these mortals, he really didn't put it in his eyes. The white man looked at the surest side again, a little disheartened. Take the table away. Long 9-3 Prince. I have a job to do. I'll take him first. After that, he and the table quickly disappeared. So fast, no tiger, is the magic of fake power. I must have taken a deep breath of appreciation. In my heart really determined. He must quickly practice to the divine vision. That way you can walk on the 6th floor. As he used to be. At this time Long 9 came to the front of the most ordinary track. On the serious side. Brother track, follow me to find Long a trip. I have something to give you. Accept 40 alliance. Hear this word. The corner of my mouth is slightly raised. It's like knowing something. Let's take a look at Theo Long 9. Soon after, they went in to find Long. Long 9 immediately chased Long kneeling out. Even if you don't volunteer, you still have to do it. Waiting for her to leave. Long 9 just took out a piece of animal skin from inside raw. Give the most evil. Get it open. 2 words appeared in front of me. Take a look at the content inside. Probably the most likely to return. The corners of his mouth revealed a satisfied smile. It was all in his plan. What I want is the potential of the Min Min and the lost family. Become a fulcrum and help unconditionally. If you have this, no one would dare touch such a lost family. The ghost can solve it. He can feel secure in developing his own power. Long 9 saw the protests on the face of track most ordinary. I wonder if I have a feeling. You seem to have known this before. Most likely, look at Long 9, a bit of mysterious laughter. His plan from the beginning is to aim for this Min wish list. Every step has a purpose. From the first day to the next. Until all the following events. They all take themselves, little by little, to plan. The idea is to get lost. Become an ally with your potential. After a while, I will hold my wish in my hand. Towards, Long 9 told me to bring it back for the big lady to sign. I see you want to go. Long 9 hurriedly spoke up to block the sign here. It's now signed by our owners. This treaty of alliance was not signed by the tribe. You must have signed. You must be an ally of your potential. This is the text of the owners. I am most likely to hear this word out of surprise. But not so much their owners. There is a clear view, of course. I'm smiling. Your masters are a mighty man. Ha ha ha. Late at night, most likely back to the hospital. As soon as he entered the door, he met the leader. He opened his mouth and asked the old man. We have no business finding her. The state leader heard that he wanted to filter the stool. Your face says I will take you away. I was a little surprised by the look of the board. Quiet leader follow. Just for a moment, two people went to the kitchen door. Suspicious or looking towards the leader. I saw him pointing in. Bring the doubt. This time in the kitchen is a mess. There's stuff everywhere. That misfits are often falling asleep in the kitchen. State leader sees sighing. The two ladies are here from morning to night. I teach the kitchen. I'm tired now. I'm sure your butler has talent. So don't let the lady and the young lady in your eyes. But the lady wants you out. To eat a good meal. I've been in the kitchen for a month. But only in exchange for your bad words. Every girl will be hurt. Probably not listening. He kept walking straight to the usual place. I couldn't help but shake my head at the black food on the stove. She really doesn't have a gift. But the mouth says so. He still holds a piece in his mouth. State leader heard why say, let's move on. Take a piece of food and put it in your mouth. Even if you have no skills, you should respect your face. Like me, it's not hard. I just swallowed a piece of water. He looked at the butler. Or stop. It's hard to eat, I blame you. But most probably I didn't notice. It's the same, put it in your mouth, swallow it. State leader sees face immediately unsightly. Stop eating, subpoena the butler. It was really hard to eat you. He must have laughed at the corners of his mouth. Every piece of clean food is usually fecal. It's not that we're hungry. Early morning the next day. The warm rays of light illuminated the quiet kitchen. Is the reward trembling eyelids immediately wake up? Look around for sides. I found out that she slept in the kitchen last night. Smiling for an hour. She's a little self-conscious. Look up at the kitchen, looking for food she made yesterday. But right now it's gone. I found a dress on her. She slowly foresees. The most likely discovery is quietly sleeping below. She covered her mouth in amazement. Last night she slept in the same place. I can't help but feel a little shy. Now I can't get close to him. My face was a little red in shame. 41 The Awakening of the Emperor. Lady tracked the butler. At this moment the voice of the king suddenly echoed. Distractions are often unexpected. Hastily rely on the most evil person pretending to sleep. Just in time. Maybe even from waking up in a dream. When he heard the king's call, he opened the words of the old man. What's the rush? The governor has just stepped into the kitchen. Crashed into his eyes. It's the lady he's leaning on. The most peaceful way to sleep. He looked at her red face. It's a little unusual to ask my sister. Hear that? Most likely, immediately look back. I often see her face red. The shivering man couldn't help but press his head into depression. Suddenly the heat came from her. It's a little surprising. She hugged her back to her room last night. I was afraid she would wake up and sleep here for a night. I can't think of a sick night. The old man had something to say. Take the lady to the restroom. I said it most likely. They usually go directly to the room. But the leader's board was in a hurry to stop him. Maybe someone wants to invite you to the office. Absolutely not guilty. He wants to stop the movement. Look at the state of the often angry divergents. Who can't answer the crime? Even if you find Long, the guests will not go. I can't see your lady is unconscious. I'll see him in a while. State Leader Tai Y angry. But the people who come can't. Guilty of urgently loud voice AI. Track brother track butler. This person said, the lady must show her face and bring the golden card. I can't help but be startled by Kim. The people with the golden cards are all royal guards. Even the owner of the 7 kingdoms is called to come. If it's not a minor offense, it's a death sentence. Heavy CHUD 9 tribes. I know how to think about last night. He doesn't dare do anything to us. He closed his eyes and thought a little coldly. Your grandmother told him the lady wasn't well. Tell him to come tomorrow. Hear this word. State dominated in the heart of the business. I can't help but take a deep breath. The enemy is Feng. Throw it away like that. Look at him slowly. He said that the man who came was the man of the table. He certainly didn't murder innocent people. Know the mind of the board. Most likely, scream again. Just do as I say. Suddenly confused, often cry out loud. Escape from the arms of the most serious. Wait, the leaderboard told him to wait a moment. I'm ready to go now. State leaders obey the fate of an hour immediately. Feel lucky. If you are not lost, you usually wake up in time. Fear is with the character of the most evil. It will definitely work with the Kier. That they're not capable of resisting. Probably the most common one. So deep thinking. Her appearance just now was unconscious. And then you wake up and you wake up. Can't help but feel strange. I'm sure it's true again, transparent female love. I can't understand. Is that the dung usually glares at one thing and says, track the butler. Don't work too emotionally. The people of King 7, we cannot be guilty. She said she was in a hurry to disappear. He just left the worst of the world standing there and shook his head. Directly to the living room. Go to the living room. You must have seen the invitation. On the person wearing the clothes of the lower. But the real force is the wind's peak. I guess it's not wrong to be a human. The one who sees the most is coming. Standing up and hugging power in the face is a haughty look. In the eyes of contempt. I don't know if it was intentional or intentional. He showed the 4 hands on his hands. You are the butler. The owner of my house invited you and lost the lady to the government. Most likely I saw his attitude. Not out of the cold. Even a poor man dares to be arrogant in front of him. That year he moved across. I'm afraid he's not even born yet. Don't look at that guy. Most likely, go straight to the chair, cross your legs. Death is not injured. Just when someone wants to be angry. I heard this word again. Roll your eyes in amazement, and yet this man dared to call his master the death table. He thinks he has a relationship with his owner. In the interim, the man in his heart has disappeared his contempt. Please tell me the owner came back last night. No mention of injury. The worst part is seeing him in a cold smile. He must be afraid of losing face. The old man beat him 30 times yesterday. He is not new. Am I right? That boy made a color for fear of you laughing, haha. Alright. The old man's still angry, isn't he? Hear this word. People finally believe. The person in front of him knows his owner. The Lord brought the prince back yesterday. He knows that the White House has appeared. This person also knows. He replied, "It doesn't seem to be." That was good yesterday. Does the old man want to accept me as a disciple? If not, we refuse to submit. He's taken it away. If you say so, I am safe. The most likely is a lucky sigh. People heard this news, and his feet trembled and he fell to the ground. The person in front of him knows his master. He was also accepted as a disciple. Even if he is AI, only with this condition. 10 lives he could not be guilty of. Look at the scared face of the Kier. Most likely, a satisfied appearance. Dare to stand in front of him arrogantly. This person is not qualified. 42,000 years of secrecy. Outside the forest, in the mountains, there's a deserted cottage. The scale is not so large as exuding elegant serenity. Outside, the guards are all high-level tricks. Kier gave the foremost evil people. 2 billion disciples and leaders came to this place. Immediately the housekeeper subpoena. "Miss, please come inside." Very quickly everyone goes to a cottage. In the distance I saw the Thai people. And pull out with the death table. I'm sitting there most definitely. Call them today for what purpose? Take a quick step back. Van High and Peanuts are often pushed forward. Said the nose. This is a meeting of 3 houses owned by you. I don't understand how to look like an ordinary person. She normally has no intention. But still clear his words. After the past events, everyone in the forest knows. The lost owner right now. He is the best butler. 7 will also see it. He is the true owner of the house. He wants to be famous. And everyone knows that. The owner of the house still carries them. Think about this. She couldn't help but be genuinely grateful. There were 3 people in front of the hospital. To pay homage to the ceremony, stand back and invite them in. In the same reverential manner as for the owner. But look at this. Death and people are stunned. The royal guard has eyes higher than his head. Except for the 7. Even if it's the 7 kingdoms. Their level is also arrogant. But today, this attitude of respect to the Peanuts is to be sow. People can't help but understand. This level of treatment above the forest city. No one does not admire. While people are evaluating for people, they have entered the house. I often look at the table. Slowly bow to the ceremony. The misguided women often consult the 3 princes. The most likely person next to her stood up. On the face as usual. He looked at her, and probably didn't he notice. Please sit down. Listen to words. I usually sit down at the same time. State is dominant and most likely to fall behind. I can't help but notice his actions. The police are not arrogant. One for the owner. The white guard here also nodded in appreciation. 3 houses are fully present. Remember the purpose of his visit to the forest. Take a breath and speak up. The prince invited 3 masters to come here today. Is the phoenix. Unlock the 1,000-year grace of the BA family. Maybe when the owners take over. They were all told one thing. It's not against the other 2 houses. We also have to support each other. At the same time, 3 families are not allowed out of the forest. Until Minshou decided to launch Rakwangmang. Actually. All of this. They're all agreements between the 7 kings and the 3. From 1,000 years ago, it's called Minshou Command. Lost Tai. The 7 kingdoms and the 7 kingdoms, they are all the same gods. The table just finished. The Tai Vin and the sky glanced at each other. Towards the death table. Often looked to the lost Van Hai. I saw her in her suspicious eyes. Received this shocking news. Stunned for a moment. Unbelievable look at the table. They don't even think about it. 3 of their families. You can stay in the same place with 7 people. But now the wandering can only be a small family. To face everyone's questions. There was a light on the face. I am sorry, I owe you everything. That year the kingdom of heaven was built. The apartment is unsteady. The people are chaotic. That's why the emperor's father died. The 7 founders of God. Divided to places in the people. Let's give them enough power. Even on par with 7. That's the 7 kingdoms. But AI suspects 25 after the power of the 7 great nations. A conflict of interest that led to the war. The 7 cannot be controlled. They've cut their power. In the end, they know there's no benefit. So the war stopped. But after the great battle the human soul lamented. The decline of national power. They can even lose water. But what does this have to do with the 3 of us? The most likely person standing next to you asked. The most likely to be asked. I look at people answering questions. Not hiding people. The 3 families are the original founding chapters. Senate in the court. If it were still in court. Definitely on par with the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars he just finished, everyone immediately terrified. Except 43 martial arts harmony. The 4 worlds is the kingdom of heaven. In the hands of the army. The political economy of the country. There are even rumors. The true power of the 4 pillars is actually stronger. That makes 7 feel worried. Emperor 7 4 pillars. The 7 kingdoms became the empire's most powerful force, but also to hold each other's bonds in balance. If one side loses its balance, the empire immediately collapsed. I can't believe the ancestors of the lost. It could become the 4 pillars of the empire. But now the lost is no more. Look at the wonder in everyone's eyes. The Lord continues to speak. Minshou secret order. That year, Emperor Taizu was angry because of the 7 families. That's why we made a covenant with the ancestors of the 7 nations, for the reason of sending the 3 families to Fenglin City. Become a normal family. Until the 7 Kingdoms War. Then, to continue to turn the other great families into the 7 kingdoms. To ensure balanced performance. Reduce the life of the lamentation. Is shit often heard here? Thinking of the current situation, he sighed. But even now there are 8. You can't stop the 7. Death has not yet spoken. The most likely person next to me laughed. It's not deterrence, it's balance. War happens when one side has the upper hand. It's like a 1,000-person war, 7,800 people, unless there's no enemy. If not, it will happen. So sometimes the two great powers clash. On the contrary, it's easier to solve, even though Sao does not want to defeat the love. I often hear him say the same thing. I immediately applauded the look. The butler is a genius. I do not blame you for falling under your hand. Most people don't pay attention to his words. Let's get straight to the 3 princes. Of the 3 families we know. Now I just want to know one thing. How are you? To help us safely become the 8th world. Of course, a family based on the power of the Emperor 7th. Of course it's not difficult, it's hard to unearth without being discovered. Surely the 7 nations will not stand by us. Step by step sit in the same position with them. End words. He looked at me in amazement and was really smart. He's just talking about the outside world. He's got the key inside. The Lord sighed in appreciation. I don't think the butler asked the right question. The worst words ever said. It immediately amazes everyone. What he said is not wrong. 7 ways Rasao can watch small families become stronger. Maybe even, they have no choice but to destroy them. Before that family starts. The strong are always like that. No power would want another power to emerge. Enjoy a delicious slice of their power. Tyvin over here sounds the worst. I regret it when I finish. He's a 1,000-year-old genius. But he would have been guilty if he hadn't been able to pull him to his side. Now death has spoken. This point in turn on the original command has been arranged. The most basic thing about a family is fake. To be able to secure a strong family. Like Xianlong that have 9 elders. Powerful force. Or Yu Mincup has 12 elders. The nations all have their own powerful strategy. Each family invited to the palace. They all have their secret weapons. To pass through the eyes of the 7. Tai 2, the emperor confiscated the property of your 3 families. So, now do you have a weapon of war? There's something about that. 7 new nations give up watching you. From 100 years ago. There are them. I can't believe you have a great martial art. Just have this martial art. You can cultivate your false power. Even if it's 7. There are only 1 or 2 sets of martial arts. Hear this word. The 3 houses all show their joy. In their hands, they really have a magic weapon. How can you? If there really is, they found out without a reminder. The opposite of them. Probably the most thoughtful. For a long time he nodded. As if he understood the problem. Death reveals a mysterious smile. Suddenly a jewel appeared in his hand. This is a magic fusion method. Itself is of no value. But practice your ancestral martial arts. Can blend the martial arts of BA House into one. Become a great martial artist. That is, the chief of the Lost family. The rotten wind of the Tai family, and the Sutra of Dragra. It's a kind of martial arts.